guys, my name is Nashon. It's been quite an interesting week the past few days in the world of sports, and today's edition of Sidechat is going to be quite a bit different from what we usually do. Najua mmezoeanga every week I have a guest who talks about what they are doing on Sidechat. But today's edition I've decided for it to be a bit laid back. Nataka tu tujuane. Like, I feel like this should have happened a long time ago. But for some reason it didn't happen. But they say it's never too late. So here I am 3 years later. Just before I continue, I'd like to ask you to subscribe, click on the notification bell down there. Make sure you follow each and every edition of Sidechat every week. So, where do I begin on this week's edition of Sidechat? I think the best starting point for this week's episode would be to maybe talk to you guys about what Sidechat is about. I know most of you guys usually see me posting things on, on YouTube, posting on IG stories, posting on Facebook, Sidechat with Nashon. So the question has always been, how did Sidechat start and what is basically Sidechat about? Truth be told, I don't know how I quite came up with the name Sidechat, but sort of like 2 years ago, I was at a place where I was in a position to be getting some exclusive interviews. And when I was going for these interviews, I was not quite sure what I wanted them to be called because I was just about to finish school. And I just wanted to give it a touch because I knew I was not going to be part of the school radio for the longest time. I know, shout out to USI Radio for helping me be who I am today. So that's when the idea of Sidechat came. I was in a cab driving so I think this was actually an interview to Morgan Heritage. At that time, they're doing the Africa-Jamaica tour, so I was not sure what I wanted to call that particular edition. So over there thinking about how do we call this thing, what do I want it to be called, and then Sidechat came. But then I didn't use the name Sidechat until the next interview, which was with Juma Jukes.
This is Peter.
I'm Mr. Mojo.
And we are from
Morgan Heritage. Keep it locked. This is where it's at. And I will say that. Morgan Heritage. Rockers.
That kinda, fizzled down because of a lot of things were happening at the time. I was finishing school, and I was getting into employment, Metropole TV. That's where I am at the moment, where I do Metropole Sports Center. So fast forward to a couple of years back, I was doing a reggae show, away from the reggae show up to now doing sports. So got to this time where I wanted to create my own space where I would be able to experiment with what I wanted to do, because the reality is when you're on telly, there are so many things that you cannot be able to do. So you need that outlet where you can be free to express yourself creatively. There are some things that zingine nataka kufanya kwa TV, but hey, naambiwanga, you know what, that cannot run on TV. So that is where Sidechat came. So what do I intend to achieve with Sidechat? With Sidechat, basically, I just want it to be a platform where we can talk about sports issues, sports conversations that are affecting us locally and internationally. Locally, I feel there are so many topics in sports that are not explored to. There are so many people that need to be talked to, but they're not being talked to on, the media outlets. They have their own editorial policies, from time to time they're supposed to be doing things in a particular way. So I wouldn't quite judge the fact that not the stories are being told the way they ought to be told, because at the end of the day, people are usually loyal to where they get their source of income for their money. So that's where the inspiration Sidechat comes from. And what I intend to achieve with this platform is for it to be sort of like a networking platform where different individuals within the sporting world can come on board, look at what we do. If you find there's somebody who you feel can be of benefit to what you're doing in the world of sport, then definitely this is the go-to place. Apart from that, I beg your pardon. Well, my ancestors are overworking this morning. Apart from that, I think one of the key things that I intend to achieve with Sidechat is to have those conversations that people are not having. We are not talking about women in sports enough, I mean, shout out going out to the CAF because they organized the Women's Champions League this past week in Kenya, where the Secretary General of FIFA was in the country to witness the final, which was between Vihiga Queens and Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. Vihiga Queens won. Gentrix Shikangwa was the star of that particular game, if not the tournament. So those are just some of the things that are being done to ensure that the conversation about women in sports is taken seriously. Away from women in sports, there are so many things that we can talk about. Take, for instance, data in sports. I mean, not many people know how important data is in sports. I've been doing a bit of research about the use of data in sports, and internationally, it's something that is quite taken very seriously, I mean, a while back when Chelsea was playing and Thomas Tuchel was asked why he made a substitution, that is Kepa. Kepa was the goalkeeper at the time. Edu Mendy was the goalkeeper, but now when they went into extra time, Thomas Tuchel, that is the Chelsea boss, made a substitution of Kepa. And when he was asked why he made that decision, he hinted on the fact that they had based their whole conversation on the use of data. They looked at the probability of Edu Mendy saving penalties and Kepa won. So those are some of the conversations we need to be having. I feel that there's, sports is not about guesswork. It's a science. That is what not many people do. So that is just 7 minutes of me rambling about Sidechat with Nashon. But that's basically what Sidechat is about, talking to you guys about some of the things that are important in the world of sports, talking to you guys about some of the things that I feel need to be done as a journalist, how I can be able to do that. Having said that, this is the part where I ask you guys to subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. If you asked me a question like 5 years ago or 3 years ago, if I was ever gonna get to a point in my life where I was gonna ask like subscribe, I never quite pictured that, but I mean, life happens. So yeah, basically, on a serious note though, subscribe to my channel, man. Awesome content. Hey, the God of Larry, I've started training, so do your thing. Anyway, so guys, subscribe to my channel, more sports content coming. Home Sidechat basically is the home of premium sports content. A lot of interesting things coming here very soon. Having talked about what Sidechat is about, I just want to talk about a few things that stood out for me in the world of sports this week. Lionel Messi, star player. I think I never quite understood where I stood. I never quite understood where my allegiance was in the whole conversation of between Messi and Ronaldo, who's better. But I think my line was drawn when Messi moved from Barcelona to a PSG. Honestly, I didn't quite understand why I was so following up the Messi issue. Like every day I was on the social media trying to look at it. I think safe to say that I'm clearly a Lionel Messi fan as compared to Cristiano Ronaldo. Not that Cristiano Ronaldo is not a star player, but I think I'm just a Lionel Messi player. Lionel Messi diehard fan. Speaking of Lionel Messi, this past week Lionel Messi passed the record that was held by Pele, that is a Brazilian player, that is a legend, Pele. Pele held a record of 77 goals in 96 games. Lionel Messi crashed that with a hat-trick this past week when he crushed Bolivia 3-0. Lionel Messi currently is the most capped international player in South America, with 79 goals. interesting to see how that dynamic is going to change. So shout out going out to Lionel Messi, the GOAT, as they call him. Away from that, one thing that stood out for me this past week was Vihiga Queens winning the Champions League. I mean, looking at how they punished CBE, that is Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, in the post-match penalty, clearly shows that the space of women football in Africa is growing. I mean, you guys can follow the last conversation that I had on Sidechat with Nashon. The video is just over here. You can go check when I was having this conversation on about the women in sports and the whole pay gap. You know, women are not being paid equally as men, so why not? That's an interesting conversation that you need to follow up on Sidechat with the Nashon YouTube page. I'm gonna put the link down there. You can follow that conversation. Shout out going out to Fran Hilton Smith all the way from South Africa, who came through on that particular one, and Mihala Baraza, a professional bodybuilder who has had a close shave with the whole conversation that she's not supposed to be being paid enough as a fellow male compatriot. I mean, that's a conversation you need to follow about. I don't need to preempt why before you watch that particular video. So take some time, go to the channel, watch that video. It's an interesting conversation that I think you need to follow up on. Away from that, what else happened this particular week? World Cup qualifiers. Remember, the English Premier League was on international break. Teams are playing for the World Cup qualifiers, Qatar 2022 World Cup qualifiers that are supposed to be played. Kenya 1-1 draw with Rwanda. Kenya 0-0 draw with Uganda. Is this the time that Kenya is going to qualify for the World Cup? Harambee Stars is going to qualify for the World Cup. Let me know what you think down there. Just comment down there. Let me know. Do you think we have what it takes to qualify for the FIFA World Cup next year? I mean, I've always been conscious about the World Cup since 1998. I can actually tell you the World Cup in 1998 was held in France. So it's gonna be interesting to see Kenya play at the World Cup. I mean, Kenya playing at AFCON in 2019 was exciting enough. I mean, if they play in the World Cup, when they play in the World Cup, that's gonna be something on another level. They have an experienced coach that is Ghost Vule. An interesting dynamic I'm going to be watching out for. So guys, that's the news that I had for you on Sidechat with Nashon this week. I don't think I have a lot to say. I mean, now you understand why the Sidechat came about, and now you understand what we'll be talking about on Sidechat. So like, subscribe, share with your friends. You know, we're trying to grow this new space of sports content creation in Kenya. So next week I'll be back with a guest. Keep it tuned on Sidechat with Nashon. I'm going to share the posters on who's going to be my guest for next week. Like, share, subscribe. Okay, should be eat, sleep, wait. It's supposed to be eat, sleep, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. So share it out with your friends. See you next week on Sidechat with Nashon.
This is Peter.
I'm Mr. Mojo.
And we are from
Morgan Heritage.
This is Rich, aka African Boy, and this is Sidechat
with Nashon Owano.
Nashon Owano.
With Nashon Owano.
With Nashon Owano.
Nashon Owano.
Keep it locked. This is where it's at. And I will say that Morgan Heritage Rockers.